So today we'll be quickly talking about how Ador AI as a product has been very pivotal in introducing personal growth and interest-based connections in India. Uh, as an entrepreneur, our primary way of working is creating a sort of innovation in terms of very minimum viable product, seeing how people are engaging on the same, and taking decisions based on that. So we set out to create a minimum viable product in the area of interest and personal growth based connections and to check how people are engaging on the same. People started creating their profiles based on their interest, hobbies, uploading photographs and writing descriptions on the same. Once we received this sort of engagement, we considered shifting to a full-fledged product. And once we started creating full-fledged product, we are very clear that we will listen to our postulate and hypothesis. If the postulate tells us that this particular ideation is working, we will proceed. If the postulate is not working, we will wrap this up. The core rationale behind any substantial firm is to not force fit any product in any market. The real founders, they check if the product is working in a particular market or not. And the only way to do that is to create a postulate and to check whether the results are in alignment with your innovation or not. Our postulate was very simple. We had two variables, which was increase in engagement of users and second, increase in proportion of females. So we went on to work around both of these variables and we increased the engagement of users on our platform by 10 times and improved the proportion of females on our platform by 3 times. So now the monthly active users on our platform were anywhere from 8,000 to 10,000 people. And we were considering that the like to pass ratio would deplete. The like to pass ratio with which we started was 1 is to 6. So we were considering that this particular ratio would deplete to 1 is to 8, 1 is to 10. And that would pretty much showcase that interest in personal growth based connections are not at all working. However, we received counterintuitive results wherein like to pass ratio improved to 1 is to 2 and eventually it went on to 1 is to 1.3, which provided us the results that interest in personal growth based connections are working in India. So that was the onset from where we decided to, build brand around Ador. In some way, we pioneered interest in personal growth based connections in India with a postulate based approach. So that was driven by the engagement of users at a scale wherein there were like say 9,500 users and all of them had been showing the sort of engagement which was counterintuitive. We went on the market, we talked with real people and all of them told us, like the type of users from different personas told us that they like connecting with people based on the personal growth goals and based on interest. Nothing like this has ever been introduced in India till now. And that was a very hidden sort of requirement that all people were craving for. However, it was not present. So our particular rationale was to create a sort of very aspiring product for everyone instead of expecting people to be very aspirational so that they can find the connections. And for the same, we introduced a suite of features which increased the connections on our platform by 2000%. Post that, we built the personalization with the help of artificial intelligence and machine learning. So we introduced a recommendation system which provides you the personalized fit in 35 plus categories of personal growth and upgrade in just 2 clicks. This personalization is synonymous to your AI friend who is pretty much extracting all useful information from the library of personal growth and upgrade and showing you the information which is aligning with your particular interest and hobbies. That was the personalization which was curated by AI. Now consider there are 10,000 people, all of them are getting the personalized suggestion on personal growth and upgrade content layered across 35 plus categories in just 2 clicks. That's what Grover City as a brand is doing. So Grover City is a sub brand of Ador AI, and this was created as a part of propelling our particular brand of bringing personal growth and upgrade to people in the most nuanced way. So we have shifted from a traditional connection platform into a one-stop platform which is revolving around personal growth and upgrade. So if someone asks us what Adore AI is primarily into, we do not introduce ourselves as a connections platform because we are completely into personal growth and upgrade platform. We believe that personal growth and upgrade is the first level of how people build relations with their own selves. And once they have that sort of a very substantial relation with their own self, which is built around upgrade, which is created on the pillars of upgrade, then they can set out to build, their relations with everyone else. And interest and hobbies are at the core of personal growth and upgrade. So Adore AI is a personal growth and upgrade platform with three suites of brands, and all of them have been created from very foundational principles. So we also introduced engaging activities and interactive modules on our platform. We also introduced Adore Conversation Channel, which brought in 100 plus leaders, and which is a thematic conversation channel which uh, provides real life stories of leaders across 10 plus categories of interest and hobbies. Now, there are at least three brands which are a part of Adore AI platform, and all of them are revolving around personal growth and upgrade. Our methodology is chartering trust with capabilities in terms of designing, innovating, building, fixing, repairing, and upgrading, you know, the different tech products and solutions which are humanized in nature. So we have also got a very good brand ambassadors into place who stand for personal growth and upgrade, whose lives are revolving around personal growth and upgrade, and who have followed some interest and hobbies for a considerable period of time, who have been featured in international magazines and who have represented uh, themselves and their particular craft at a global diaspora. Having said that, what we are primarily doing is to create a sort of aspirational platform for everyone. And we have figured out, both from our personal observations as well as from the high level trends on the platform, that personal growth and upgrade is contagious. If one person is following personal growth and upgrade, there are very high chances that the people who are observing him will also take on the personal growth and upgrade around us, and they will make it a part of the region. We have 15 to 16 interests and hobbies on our platform, and these are ranging from yogasana, fitness, music, dancing, spirituality, swimming. And what we are primarily doing is spinning the clock to aspirational time frame wherein the modernity is now getting defined by people connecting based on their personal growth goals and interests. And we have successfully verified the same with our postulate. So now we have spun the clock and we have pioneered something which was not at all present in India. And we have done it at a very right juncture and very right time. If you ask me if this would have succeeded at 2010, 2012, no, it would not have succeeded in 2010 and 2012. The core reason for that is the internet economy was still coming in its broader way in Indian market. And there was a direct implication of turning physical behaviors into online products. So if you see most of the online products of those time, all of them primarily were revolving around turning your physical behavior into a sort of online product. And that's where most of the platforms at that time are revolving around bridging a sort of a gap or bridging or creating a sort of solution, which are mostly oriented based on communities or based on your religion or your faith. And that's where when the time shifted to 2022, 2021, now we are seeing the time frame where the diverse set of people are connecting with each other, and they are connecting with each other based on the proportion of their time invested in their personal growth and upgrade. So, say for example, if an individual has invested lots of the time in fitness and hobby, they would connect with other person into fitness and hobby by overcoming all the lines of region, religion, geography, nationality. If you see the classrooms in US or Canada, out of 35 students in a classroom, there are 5 Asians, 5 Hispanic, 5 North Americans, 2 or 3 South Americans, 2 or 3 Chinese, and 2 or 3 Europeans. That's the sort of diversity. And what is the common crux of them getting connected? It is the time that they have invested either in studies, either in any sort of craft, or either in fitness hobbies, or either in terms of creating their aspirational version. That's the common sort of a lever on which they are connected. And that is the high level trend which is going up since a very considerable amount of time. 2021 was that time when the global economies were shifting to this sort of module, and they were shifting this in a way wherein billions of dollars were output to shift the sort of their infrastructure to interest and hobby based connections. However, India is a land of personal growth and upgrade. And that's where what we realized is that interest and hobbies are one part of the equation. Personal growth and upgrade is the primary part of India's narrative. Because without personal growth and upgrade, there is no complete Indian story coming out. India as a land has been very good adapter of entrepreneurial talent and entrepreneurial ventures, and there are suite of startups which are created around the space of personal growth and upgrade. And India as a land has been recepted as a very uh, welcoming and very accepting sort of a geography from global diaspora in terms of ventures which are revolving around personal growth and upgrade. So there are startups around yogasana, there are startups around fitness, there are startups around various you know various aspects like say spirituality, and all of them have succeeded a lot. And these are the digital products which have made global money. And that's where what we consider was to create a sort of product which is primarily uniting people based on the levels of their personal growth and upgrade, which is providing them suite of information in a very effortless way in the domain of personal growth and upgrade. And that's where what we have created is a one-stop platform with four suite of brands, and all of them are reducing the window of friction in terms of offering various sort of benefits in the area of personal growth. And what we primarily consider is that the postulates are speaking for itself, uh, and you know the contagious effects that people are showing in terms of picking up various interests and hobbies, as well as personal growth habits, are pretty much showing that we are pretty much good to go in terms of having brand which are just revolving around upgrade and personal growth based connections. This is a very broader societal impact because we are creating a wide space. There are lots of people who have not yet considered connecting digitally with other people based on their personal growth and upgrade goals, as well as based on their interest and hobbies, who have not received that sort of organized content which is created with efforts around personal growth and upgrade goals. And that's why there is a latent requirement in a very wide range of users. There's a very big market out there. And since they have never seen anything like this, they consider they don't require it. However, Ador has showcased with the matrices that there is a very big white space around the people who will come on to this type of product, who will engage and who will be getting benefited from you know uh, all this sort of offerings. We connect based on various levels on digital platforms, and there are like suite of different domains when people are connecting with each other. However, when it comes to personal growth goals, interest, hobbies, there is no particular platform where we are talking, where we are connecting. I have not seen any platform till now wherein I have talked about my interest and hobbies. I am into cooking, I am into spirituality, I am into at times into fitness, at times into sports. However, there is no particular product which is created in a way wherein all the features queue is providing me gateway to talk around or connect with like-minded people based on this. And that's a very big white space around. And when I can showcase my 360-degree profile, my persona is coming out. It's getting reflected. Now people see the side of me which was not earlier coming out. You may be in contact with any person till 2 or 3 years. However, that person would not be knowing very crucial aspects of you. And the only reason for that is that they cannot see your complete sort of profile in one go. And what happens on Ador AI is you provide your most aspirational and substantial information in just one, you know. So education, profession, age, location, those are the primary variables. However, what about your interests and hobbies? What about the side of your persona, which is light-hearted, which is full of expression, wherein your heart is quenched, wherein you have invested lots and lots of your time? Because there are more talking points about it. When you are connecting with someone based on your personal growth goals, based on your interests, based on your hobbies, where you have invested your considerable amount of time, you have lots of things to talk about, and that builds up the competitive, that builds up the friendship, that builds up the association. And that was our hype. And the matrices, the numbers, they also talk the same in the way which even surprised us. And that's where what we primarily consider is that the personal growth and upgrade is the primary sort of a pillar, which is the high level driver of how we are moving ahead with creating this bigger shift. Once the personal growth and upgrade is offered to people and they are interacting based on the personal growth goals and upgrade, Then comes the level of connecting with like-minded people based on common or complementary interests and hobbies. And then comes the level of getting an agent or having interactive activities, and also listening to leaders who have followed, the path of following any interest in hobbies, and who have seen the personal growth in their life and who have made it big. So what we primarily consider is everyone is looking for that particular medium, and what we are primarily doing is to provide them the gate. And we are talking in terms of the postulates. We built a sort of advertisement tech platform which imbibes the sort of high level variables as well as the very in-depth variable in terms of the interest, hobbies, and their personal growth goals. And we provide the business brands the ability to target based on all these nuanced variables. So consider what sort of targeting we can provide in the terms of the advertisement tech platform that we are doing. And that particular experience is so lucid that any individual would not even feel that they are interacting with ads. They would consider as if they are just, you know, uh, looking at the different codes or tips of personal growth or upgrade goals, and they're getting some sort of information of any business which is around personal growth and upgrade. So that is the subtle integration of advertisement tech that we have imbibed in it. And that's how, like, even the big global companies have integrated ads. Like, if you see the search engines, the advertisement is so subtle that you won't even feel that this is an ad. If you see even LLMs, some of the LLMs that have started imbibing advertisement, which are very few LLMs, it is so subtle that you won't even feel that this is advertisement. You will feel as if this is a prompt that is provided to you. And the same thing goes with various interactive digital platforms, which have their own sort of front end integration and enhancement into place. As a founder, I consider that the thinker doer or the person who has actually taken risk knows any market very well than everyone else. Period. Because when we started creating one product, we realized that there is a dearth of gap across various sort of domains, and we came out with at least 6 to 7 sort of uh, products which can resolve a very big pain point in an effortless way. And these are the products around, let's say, for example, cloud optimization, or the products around creating a interactive and engaging sort of a personalized LLM, or the sort of the type of products which are primarily driven around creating personalization, not only in terms of content, but also in terms of enterprise requirements. And that's where what we consider primarily is that uh, with the postulate driven results that we have received, this particular sort of uh, proposition of connecting individuals based on interest and personal growth goals is just getting started in India. We have pioneered the same. However, over time, there'll be more and more digital platforms who will be conceptualized on this, who will who will receive the sort of engagement on them, and which will eventually get monetized in a very big way. In fact, these platforms have the highest propensity of getting monetized and get a sort of LTV to CAC anywhere around, 2:1 or 3:2, because they are completely shifting the lives of people in the most fundamental areas of life. And when you give people what they want, that is one of the most nuanced offerings of any particular sort of individual or any sort of business. And this particular domain has that capability to provide people what they're looking for. Consider someone who's looking to reduce their weight, or consider someone who is trying to get their BMI, body mass index, into place, or just consider an individual who is trying to learn a sort of a yogasana method, or just imagine an individual who is having a chronic ailment and who is aiming to remove that with any sort of Ayurvedic uh, medium. And just consider the large mass of audiences who have lots of personal growth and interest goals with them and who want to meet like-minded people around the same. If you ask my particular sort of a generation, which was 6, 7, 10 years before me, they never received any sort of platform which helped them connect based on personal growth goals and interests. If you ask my father, he had no platform. In fact, he didn't even have a smartphone, right? If you ask a sort of a generation between me and my father, they were just getting started with the smartphones and they saw the sort of platforms which were connecting like-minded people based on their communities and religions. If you talk about the siblings of or the people in the 90s or 1880s, people born in the time frame of 90s to 1993 or 1988 to 1993, this is the sort of audience who saw the sort of platforms which were, having lots of community, religion, faith-based elements, and that is still prominent in India. And then there was a requirement wherein there is access to personal growth and upgrade based information, which is not at all present in. Then came the content based platforms. So there are the UGC platforms, and UGC platforms just shifted the world in a very positive way. However, there's still required that there is access to a sort of a platform which is providing personalization in terms of personal growth and upgrade in a very seamless way. And then there is also requirement where people are connecting based on their personal growth goals and based on their interest and hobbies. So my father, the generation between me and my father, the people who are born in 1988 to 2000 to 1990 to 1993, all of them didn't have access to any sort of platform which helped them connect based on their interests, hobbies, and personal growth goals. Now there is a generation which is, from 1996, 1995, 2000, 2004. This is a very big chunk of audience, and they are very much conscious of their well-being, of their mindset. They are having inclination towards one or more hobbies, and now they are having digital access in a very affordable way. They are getting the sort of inculcation on a smartphone at the age of 10 or 12, and on top of it, they are looking for platforms wherein they can interact with like-minded people uh, across all this sort of levels, which are like, say, their interest, hobbies, personal growth goals. And that's where this is the fundamental shift, wherein they are not only getting access to the content which is personalized for them, however, they're also connecting with the individuals based on their interest and personal growth goals. So this is a very big pivotal shift, and this is a very big market out there. And uh, India as a market has 50% of population which is below 28 years of age. So every year, there's a huge chunk of population which is coming on the digital mediums and who are getting digital access. Consider the first point of reference for them is connecting with like-minded people based on interest, hobbies, personal growth, and upgrade goals, and getting access of information around that. The whole generation would be shifting completely from that. Year on year on year on year, if you put a 6 to 7 year sort of a roadmap, you see a sort of a generation which is talking about substantial aspects like their personal growth goals, like their interests, hobbies, their goals, their motives, their aspirations, their careers, education. because that's what we are ingraining in them from the very start, from the start of their journey of getting access to digital platforms. And once they start from there, within the time span of 7 to 10 years, we have the entire new generation, which is having a sort of very substantial engagement and lots of good friendships, associations, connections, groups getting built around this. And our matrices are saying that this is pretty much achievable, and people love doing this. Uh, Already, they are showing that sort of engagement and behavior wherein there is 5 times enhanced engagement because we provided them gateway to connect based on their interest and personal growth goals. So now people are talking about social impacts. They are talking about sustainable development goals. They're talking about their interest and hobbies. They're talking about personal growth goals. And just imagine what the type of bigger shift that we are up to, you know, and that is the sort of the progressive shift that is very much required. And as per various reports by global organizations, OECD, UNDP, Japan Ministry of Health and Commerce, on top of it, World Bank, all of them have showcased that there is a direct correlation of GDP with wellness. There is direct correlation of productivity with wellness, as well as with the programs which are revolving around fitness, yogasana, spirituality, mind, body, soul upgrade. So there is direct correlation of health, happiness, well-being around this sort of levers. And Ador AI as a platform has not only initiated this, it has pioneered this, and it has received results based on its postulates. And that's what we are considering, that this is a bigger shift that is going to happen. And this is a particular sort of opportunity when we can shift the younger generation in a way which has not happened yet. And we can provide them the gateway to do this in a very appealing, engaging, and interactive way, wherein they are, perceiving, engaging, interacting, and connecting based on personal growth goals and upgrade. And they're also upgrading themselves based on personal growth and upgrade over the course of time. Just imagine the type of impact if we can shift 10 million youth to this sort of trajectory, even if they have a sort of their attention or their sort of engagement for a few days on this type of platform, there will be a shift in their sort of perception of how individuals are connecting, of how the personal growth and connections are one entity and they are not separate entities. There are physical sort of narratives, and then there are digital sort of narratives. In both of them, no one has taught us that personal growth and upgrade are one. Take 100 people around you and ask them, do you think that your connections, like your friendships, your associations, and your personal growth and upgrade goals are interrelated? No one would tell you yes in one go because this is not ingrained in them at a very conscious level. No one, no school, no professor, no particular educational institute, no sort of colleges or MBAs or even corporates have taught us that personal growth and connections are one entity. No one has directly given us this message that personal growth and your upgrade, okay, and the connections that you're building around, they are the one entity. They're all connected. You are picking up your hobbies, interests, your personal growth, your upgrade from people around. And so you are picking up your addictions, your negative thinking, your sort of what I can call it as gimmicky sort of frame of mind, all your sort of addictions and all the sorts of activities that you should not be doing, which is perfectly okay. Like in some part of life, it's okay. It's a part and parcel of your life. However, no one is talking it that all of these things are contagious. And since the start, there has been no sort of physical uh, sort of introduction in a direct way, neither a sort of online platform which has given this direct message that personal growth goals and your connections are one entity. Now we have this opportunity where we are shifting the entire generations from you, and we are telling them that your personal growth and upgrade goals, as well as the connections you are building around it, are one entity. Consider what will be the impact of that. I was in fifth standard. I'll tell you a very cool story as a founder today. I was in fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth standard. I read about the dynasties, and I still have in my mind how they operated. I was 12 years old, and those sort of teachings and learnings are still imbibed in my brain. I still remember each and every ruler of 4 to 5 dynasties in 4 to 5 different regions as a part of my subject in history. And what were the sort of their economics? What were the sort of their operations? How they used to govern? What each type of emperor introduced during his course of regime? All this information I have. Why? Because at very sort of inception, I was introduced with this sort of information. Consider all these youths in fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth standard. They are giving all this information and they are having lots of knowledge around all these things. However, a very simple message: your personal growth and upgrade, as well as your connections, are one entity. I never received this message directly in any of my textbooks, in any of my MBAs, in any of my grad schools. And today I will be very cruel about this. And this is the bigger gap that we are filling up. This will change generations because now consider everyone is perceiving their connections and associations in a very different way because they have been taught to think like that. They have been ingrained that is the imbibing that is happening in their minds from the very start. And this is the generation which is digital savvy, which is getting digital exposure, which is taking up the digital exposure on its own. They're not asking for permissions. They're having access to data. It is affordable. And they're also having that sort of capabilities to earn on their own at a very early age and to have their own sort of smartphones and internet. So this is a broader societal shift that Ador AI is aiming to create. And it's very surprising that we are, like, say, one of its very few ventures who are doing this. In a country like India, which is having 1.4 billion population, there would have been lots and lots of ventures around this. And it's quite surprising that there are very lesser ventures which are around personal growth, upgrade, and connections. And if we see the counterparts, if we see the developed nations, there are lots of entities around personal growth and upgrade. You know, not only the consumer spending is the bigger sort of driver of this, the core driver of this is entrepreneurs and founders who have invested their time in shifting the generations. What we believe as a founders are the entrepreneurs and the founders are the primary people who shift generations. It was an entrepreneur who created banking. It was an entrepreneur who created automobiles. If it would not have been entrepreneur, automobiles would not have had happened. It were like a bunch of brothers who created aviation. If they had not taken risk, aviation would not have been. It were like very few people who introduced steel as a major part of construction. If they had not done that, God knows if we had been using steel or not. Entrepreneurs are those sort of people who are very few. They, it's like there is the sort of Pareto principle which works and which tells that if they would not do this, there are very less chances that it would get introduced, it would get built. And that's where it's very important that as the founders, as the creators, we are building businesses which are substantial, which have broader societal impact, which are driven by postulates and hypotheses. And that's where, if we see, like, say, some of the most uh, aspiring entrepreneurs, even of the today's generations, uh, there's like a stupendous sort of effort that has been created to provide the entire ecosystem of computing in our hands, which is having internet connectivity, which is having connectivity in terms of calling everywhere, and on top of it, which is having the entire architecture of apps in just one device. So if you see the number of minds who did that, the very few, you know, and that's the Pareto principle into operations, wherein around 95 to 98% of innovations are brought by only 2 or 3% of individuals. And if they would not have showcased great resilience and their adherence to their particular sort of innovation, it would not have happened. You know, it would not have happened. So that's what we primarily believe in. And we have seen the higher level trends and we are moving with conviction. And what we are primarily doing right now is a sort of restructuring wherein people are now getting united based on their capabilities, substantial inputs, their adherence to the bigger vision of the company, and on top of it, saying that we want to see the sort of people who are connecting based on the personal growth goals and interesting hobbies. And we have seen like lots of sort of tenures over the course of building Ador. And these are the sort of times which would not only test the mental strength of an individual, however, which would also ask someone to imbibe spirituality in their core essence. And it's very surprising to, you know, uh, to say that while we give lots of the efforts, the core users, they showcased the trends in the most effortless. So the postulates talked for itself, and we had no requirement to, you know, speak more of what is happening around. So the users have showcased their adherence in terms of their engagement, and the results of the postulates are talking for itself. And that's what we consider, that if people are loving to connect based on their interest in personal growth goals and their hobbies, then it's like our dharma to provide more of it. And we are no one to restrict this sort of a trend, which is the higher level trend of, you know, restricting people to connect based on upgrade goals or, chunking of people from the sort of innovation which provides them access to personal growth and upgrade sort of information in various categories or various domains. So we are no one to do that. And that's where what we are considering is that it's very sort of inspiring to see that India, as a developing nation, has showcased adherence to personal growth and interest-based connections from 2022 onwards. And it's like a really, you know, joyous uh, input that users have provided, that, if we create the sort of aspirational products for them, they will showcase their adherence to it. Thank you.